You're listening to DraftKings Network.
All set for your flight?
Yep, I've got everything I need. Eye mask, neck pillow, T-Mobile, headphones.
Wait, T-Mobile?
You bet. Free in-flight Wi-Fi. 15% off all Hilton brands. I never go anywhere without T-Mobile. Same goes from a water bottle, chewing gum, nail clippers,
okay,
passport.
I'm gonna leave you to it.
Find out how you can experience travel better at T-Mobile.com/travel.
Qualifying plan required. Wi-Fi were available on select U.S. airlines. Deposit and Hilton Honors membership required for 15% discount. Terms and conditions apply.
Folks, the playoff season is here, and the only thing better than the game day predictions are the foods that come with them. Introducing Tums Fantasy Food Ball Pool, brought to you by Tums, America's #1 antacid brand, and DraftKings. Each week leading up to the big game, turn football into food ball by building your best game day plate for a shot at winning a share of $40,000 in cash prizes. Inspired by game day bites and tailgate treats, join the Tums Food Ball action during this playoff season's most heartburn-inducing times. Visit DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball between January 6th and February 9th to enter for free and select your game day plate before the start of each playoff round. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball. When you feel the heat of the game, don't let the heartburn keep you on the sidelines. Try Tums Chewy Bites with a tasty outer shell and soft center for fast relief of heartburn, acid indigestion, and upset stomach. Check out Tums Gummy Bites, featuring a soft and easy-to-chew format for fast relief of occasional heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, and upset stomach. Both available at Amazon, Target, and other major retailers nationwide. And for more heartburn relief fun, be sure to follow Tums at Tums Official on Instagram and TikTok.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
I just was personal witness in the wild to one of the great love story old man connections around baseball cards and all things that bring sports purity and love to bond two men. The moment I just witnessed, natural, right before the cameras came on in here, of Stugotz and Greg Cote talking the love language of men. And I'll tell you what it was. I don't have the context for it. I started listening at the end, but it was a magical moment of love story between the height of masculinity. Stugotz said to Greg Cote, for reasons I don't understand, "Oh, Teddy Ballgame." And Greg Cote didn't give him 1 point.
Yeah.
Gave him 2 points.
Yep, I really felt the second one. Yeah.
Because of a baseball player named Ted Williams.
Teddy Ballgame.
Yeah.
In the 1950s and 60s, and the glorious old sports day of when a nickname still meant something.
Damn right.
We thought you were talking about Teddy Bridgewater back here.
No, well, we were. It started there because Greg and I were talking about how important the backup quarterbacks are, especially this time of year. You're one play away from having to go to the backup. It happened with Damon Ewart a few years ago, and he took the Chiefs on a 98-yard drive. So I have ranked the remaining 8 backup quarterbacks that we have left in the playoffs. One of them is Teddy Bridgewater. That morphed into a conversation of top 5 Teddys of all time. How about that?
Wow.
Crazy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how genius happens, Start talking about Teddy Bridgewater, anything can happen.
Yep.
Teddy Bridgewater, I've been asking our guest bookers to get Teddy Bridgewater for us because it's a really cool story. Just happened pretty quietly. You don't get in and out of football unscathed, with what that game costs. As Chris Cody's arguing, I don't want to be Sam Darnold, just want his money. That is, my father's been saying that since childhood. I don't want to be Burt Reynolds. I just want his money. That's what Chris Cote just said as a sports argument for why he would or wouldn't want to be a quarterback. He just wants the money. Teddy Bridgewater got some of the money. Reliable backup. Comes to our city, dominates state high school football, leaves a champion, goes back to the Detroit Lions, and they might need him for a drive. And, man, that's going to be a nice story.
That's what I'm saying.
If somehow injuries come and grab everybody in the sport and the Lions need a rescue, because you know there are 4 other teams that are almost as good as the Lions, and, might the Rams be one of them?
Yeah.
Might the Rams be one of them? Because I'm pretty sure that Stugotz, after last night, is willing to say the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl.
I am willing to say the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. You know, if you're an Eagles fan, that was the worst-case scenario playing out last night. You wanted the Vikings, and now you're getting a Super Bowl champion quarterback and a Super Bowl champion coach, and that coach is 18-3 in December, January, and February.
And they're healthier.
That's the quarterback.
They're healthier, and it's weird. That team is weird in that it is strange. We can agree on this. It's unusual to have a system that has 2 of these unbelievably rugged physical receivers that no one can stop. To have 2 of them and a quarterback who can no-look pass in a Super Bowl because he's so comfortable throwing a football. Like, if you can't stop 2 receivers who the only failure of that team is if their bodies don't hold up, correct?
Yes.
Because one of them was a 2,000-yard receiver and the other one comes behind him and is a 1,700-yard receiver, and you're like, wait a minute, how does that happen? It must be system and coach and quarterback working together rhythmically, and all the detours the thing is health. Like, there is nothing. It's a grinding machine that'll win the Super Bowl. Maybe it stops at Belichick and Brady because Goff's your quarterback. But if you've figured out system and quarterback and timing, and you've got a durable quarterback, and his skill guys are those 2, right? Because I don't know, who do you guys view as the best skill guys in the league? We look at Cincinnati, obviously.
Minnesota.
But when I ask you about this, when I ask you about what this team does with its no-look quarterback and 2 receivers impossibly built to get 2,000 yards in a way you cannot stop. It's not, I do not care what you do. I don't care how good your corners are. I don't even need totally to throw the ball to the tight end in the seam very much anymore. In the Super Bowl at drive time, when I had to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, Matthew Stafford has so much comfort in Cooper Kupp that even though he's the only healthy receiver left, he's making no-look passes to a person we know he's going to throw it to, because some people are so quick that you're never going to actually cover Ladd McConkey. Like, he's just never going to be covered. Like, it's not a thing that can be covered either when it's that small and quick. So that team, everyone in the sport is scared of for what I just said, right? Oh, no, they've got 3 guys like that, and those 3 guys are kind of indestructible. They'll beat Tom Brady on 4th and long when you know he's got to throw it to Cooper Kupp in the playoffs. Everyone is terrified of that team. More than the Bengals, more than I'd say even the 49ers. Billy's never believed in them, but I don't think Billy would have anything bad to say about the Rams. Like, we all know if that team's healthy, it's terrifying.
They also have a good tight end who got injured last night, but not seriously.
Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, and then Williams is an above-average running back. I mean, that is a great offense. I would still say Baltimore has more weapons and is a better offense, but the Rams are great.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but if we get Rams at Lions for the right to go to the Super Bowl, it might be a better championship game than the AFC game. Like, that is great.
It's a great game.
That is so rich with storylines, man.
Yeah,
if the Rams could derail the greatest season in Detroit Lions history.
If Stafford could.
In Detroit. Wait a minute. You want storylines like the soap opera basketball stuff? Hold on. Healthy Rams with Matthew Stafford as the quarterback. Matthew Stafford is the best Detroit Lions player ever who did not quit on the franchise early in his career, because the franchise has sucked for 50 years and swallows everyone and everything, even if it's Barry Sanders.
I like that. He's the greatest guy who stuck with the franchise.
He's the greatest guy to not quit for that franchise.
He quit emotionally.
No, he didn't.
He asked for a trade.
No, he didn't.
He stayed right there.
He got traded. Look, Matthew Stafford is one of the. Look, you say you don't want the expectations of quarterback money. Stafford was the highest paid quarterback, and I was like, you can't pay him like that. Detroit Lions never win anything. He's their best player. They never matter. He goes to California because McVay says, Goff, that's as high as I can go. I'm going to arrive at Belichick's doorstep, and I'm going to lose 13-3 because that's as high as I can go with you as soon as Todd Gurley gets hurt.
Right.
If you don't have your running back, I can't do it with just you. So I can't do it with 20 touchdowns in my running game. And so I'm going to send you to Detroit. And Detroit says, this is a stopgap. We're rebuilding with Man Campbell. This isn't a serious thing. We're going to take this money. We all know this is bad money in Goff. Goff can't succeed like that without McVay, right? I don't have any parts of the story wrong yet, do I?
No.
For him to go back to Detroit and break the greatest season in Detroit history's heart because Stafford can no-look pass when you, in the Super Bowl, when you get him 2 receivers or you get him just one. It's like one who won't quit. One who won't quit because of franchise dysfunction. One who won't quit because he's properly supported. It is crazy to say that I would take as my Super Bowl champion any one of the remaining teams that you give me if I can just add those 3 guys and put it in the middle of my offense. I feel like I can go on the road and beat anybody. I will play on any team in the league, and I will just drop in. I'll take out your 3 skill guys and put those 3 skill guys out, and I think I'll take my chances with Kupp, Puka, and Stafford against everyone in the league.
And Kyron Williams. I mean, I want to see that game because all the pressure will be on Detroit. It's their year. Sure. It's their time to get to the Super Bowl, and in walks Matthew Stafford. Yeah. I love a good cagey veteran Super Bowl champion quarterback strolling into a stadium. I do. Yeah.
In strolls Matthew Stafford. The guy never did shit in Detroit. It's not like this hollowed ground that he owns Ford Field and he's going to come in and dominate again. Guy was a quitter. Honestly, when they brought in Dan Campbell, the new GM, he went to Chris's point. He went to management and he requested a trade because he said that he thought another teardown was going to come. Matthew Stafford, you know why the Lions didn't win? You were their quarterback, buddy. It was on you. You should have done better. Then he goes and he has little dalliances in L.A. and he wins the Super Bowl, and the city welcomes him back as a champion, and they name streets after him and do all these things. We're so happy for Matthew Stafford. I know he doesn't get his flowers. Jared Goff, the guy who came in there and he stuck with them and has elevated this team, carried them on his back to the promised land that they haven't seen because of Matthew Stafford. And now we're going to come in and we're going to say, wouldn't it be a great story if Matthew Stafford comes in and he ruins the party? No, it would be a nightmare. It would be an absolute nightmare. I hope that the Lions demolish the Rams. And thoughts and prayers to everyone out in L.A. But I hope that the Lions demolish the Rams.
What was that?
Yeah.
That you have to say that. You say that because you can't actively.
We weren't even thinking about it.
But you can't, just in case anyone was making the connection, saying, "Oh, the Rams."
That was
what's
not
going
better on the
out
front
there.
end, though.
Exactly right. Like I want to say, I thoughts and prayers with everyone out there in LA. I hope everyone, downloads Heidi's song and all that stuff and sends it to number 1 on the Apple charts because that's how we're healing now. But I'm just saying, I hope that the Lions pounce on the Rams. This is not a feel-good story revenge game. It's a revenge game against him, Judas.
Was that a cough laugh? What was that sound? It sounded like somebody clubbed a baby seal next to me, and it spit up a sardine. What just happened?
I was laughing at Billy's take because while it may be accurate, it's also part of what makes this a great matchup full of storylines. And here's another storyline. Don Shula's grandson, maybe the best defensive coordinator in football that nobody's talking about.
Right. The Dolphins should hire him.
You know what? If they lose their defensive coordinator, which they might because he's being sought after.
I was going to say, Dolphins had a top 5 defense this year.
I know, but also Anthony
But his last name is Shula.
Exactly.
And Anthony Weaver is being sought after.
Legacy, To Greg's point, the Rams have only allowed 10 points or fewer in 4 of their last 5 games. So their defense is actually what's really helped this late season run for them.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you guys a question because for about the last 5 years, I can stroll in with the lazy analysis of the following. And this week, because of the stakes, because we're starved for football, because we make all things that just happen the most important thing in a sport where health really, really matters. For the last 5 to 10 years, I'm always thinking that the team that looks impressive this week can go on the road and then go play a rested team that is better than them and gets the reward in the game of attrition of being rested and playing at home, thinking that that team's chances are better than they ever are, because what often happens in this round is the team like the Rams gets dragged because the better team had longer rest, and we're all reminded, oh yeah, Detroit beat everyone in the sport by 225 points this year. They're better than everyone, and you always fall in love with the last team you see. I stopped doing analysis that way because of how often I was wrong falling in love with the wild card team.
Yeah, Rams +6 at Eagles. I mean,
good.
I hear what you're saying, but +6.
But in this round though, the Eagles at least had to play.
Yeah.
Right?
You're doing the rest versus rust thing. Like, couldn't a team that had a bye come out rusty?
No, but you guys are talking about the Detroit game, right? And I was thinking of just what is coming up against Detroit and what the bye is going to mean to these teams. My more general analysis that I've been wrong every time because of how much I fall in love with the teams that are good in this round. And then when they do run up against teams that have the Chiefs bye, what ends up happening, it's almost impossible to beat them on the road.
Right. You see the Commanders win on the road. The Lions, they have a week off, and, the Commanders are the last thing you saw. And so you think to yourself, yeah, the Commanders have a shot here. And then the Lions remind you just how good they are and have been during the regular season. But, Dan, it does happen. Like teams from the wild card, they go on the road. It happened last year with Kansas City.
Yes. It's just in times of measurements that are weird and random. Yes, Eli Manning twice has gone on the road through all his playoff games and won.
Aaron once, I think.
My larger point is what an amazing advantage it is in a sport that has so many close games that to have a week more of health is usually a pretty substantive advantage because playing a game every 2 weeks feels differently than some of the shit we were doing at the end of the season where we're playing 3 games in 11 days and Patrick Mahomes is limping off the field.
I think to your point, you see that in the spreads. Outside of Ravens-Bills, which is basically a pick'em game, big spreads. Like a lot of people are going to be looking at these underdogs like, oh, that's a lot of points. But to Dan's point, these 1 seeds and 2 seeds are just waiting.
Yeah, Philadelphia's only given up 6 points, though, to the Rams. That's pretty close for a Philly home game.
That's a big spread. What do you mean?
I don't think it's that big a spread. I mean, not compared to, 8, 9.5 I'm seeing?
Right.
Lions are going to crush the Commanders. The Texans team I saw beat the Chargers has a chance to win in Kansas City if the weather's not crazy snowy.
See, no one thinks that.
Okay.
Don't say no one.
That's a big if, though.
You said they were very, 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 very far from being a contender.
Yeah,
that's what you said. They were very, 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 very far from being a contender.
And they proved me right for the next month or so. The team I saw beat the Chargers with that defense.
Be careful changing your mind. Be careful. I just did this with Sam Darnold. I was good all season. You know how idiotic it is, Stugotz? And I am on the other side of 55 to fall into the trap of being right all season and then being wrong the day before just because I did my math wrong on how many good teams there are in the sport.
Changing your mind is a very dangerous game. Just stay entrenched. Greg, are you saying they're going to pull off the upset? Because if you don't say it, I will.
I don't think they will, but I think they have a good chance. If I see the same team as I saw beat the Chargers.
No, useless. That's right.
They showed you a lot in that game.
I don't think they will, but they have a chance.
Yeah,
like, what is that?
Useless. Just fundamental. This is how your dad ages in the gambling game.
Okay, let me tell you something about changing my mind. Sometimes it's not about changing your mind. It's about recognizing an evolution. And I'll give you another example. The Baltimore Ravens defense early in the season, up until about midseason, was awful. Bottom 5 in the league. Most points allowed. Terrible. The Ravens defense changed because of Kyle Hamilton and a couple other things, and they're now a really, really good defense. That's not me changing my mind. That's me recognizing an evolution in that team.
Kyle Hamilton, not since talking about Bob Sanders making the Indianapolis Colts better for Peyton Manning. Because,
that guy could hit.
Because as a safety, he took them from the 30th ranked run defense by himself to a Super Bowl champion.
Oh, he was awesome,
so good, like Steve Atwater.
He was the coolest.
It was unbelievable to watch. I'm like, how is there a safety being a superhero here? I'm so mad that Derwin James is out of the playoffs because these cornerbacks who are superheroes are amazing to me. Sanders.
He was helped by the name Bob, right?
Bob Sanders, yeah. And I think he was a strong safety. That helps as well. Yeah.
But he not since then have I heard one team get more accolades for one move in its defensive secondary than what the Ravens have become defensively since Kyle Hamilton, which is number 1 in the league across the board for 6 weeks now.
Yeah, that's right. We like Bob's in America now.
That's why we like Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Bob's real name is Desmond?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's better with Bob.
Trying to figure out where that came from.
Bob is
But how did he get from there to Bob?
You know what? You saw me hiccup on Bob Sanders and temporarily forget his name. It's because I don't associate athletic excellence with anyone named Bob.
That's exactly right.
It stopped me where I'm like, I wanted to change his name to Mike.
Big Shot Bob? Hello?
Yeah.
Bob Pettit?
Bob Clemente?
He was Robert, though. He was Robert.
There's no S in Bob's first name is Demond. D-E-M-O-N-D.
Demond.
No wonder he changed
Important note.
How'd we get to Bob, though?
Don't know.
Huh.
Looking into it.
All right, thanks.
Get on that, Roy.
Bob's.
Too few Bobs. Too few Ruths. Nellies.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Guys, Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you're going to get any money back whatsoever, and then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert will find your every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. All so you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now this is Taxes. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live, full service, real-time updates only on iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite. I know I do. The grape-tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and great-tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Recently, I had family over, and while everyone's palate is different, I knew they all like beer, and they all look like people who want to drink beer that actually tastes like beer. So I brought out a nice little silver platter of Miller Lite. That beautiful white can was an instant winner. Trust me, learn from my experience, set that bad boy out, and you will be making people happy left and right. Because Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975. And still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account. A friend paying you back. Or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card. Or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Dan Le Batard.
It's all about me.
Stugotz.
Whee!
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Weren't you complaining about Patrick Mahomes' the kid's name?
Oh, that wasn't meant for air.
Oh, boy.
But
Okay.
Because Golden Ray is a beautiful image.
That's the name.
I don't know if it's a great name.
Mahomes just had.
That's a nice name.
They had their third child and they named it Golden Ray.
Is it a name at all?
Golden Ray?
What's wrong with that name?
It's a made-up name. I think when parents make up names, they're not thinking of the child. Okay, when that child is going into middle school with the name Golden Ray, I think you got to think about that. Quick example. I wanted to name Christopher Bamboo Reed. Earleen stepped in and went, let's give him a normal name.
Bamboo Reed Cody?
Yeah, and she used the phrase normal name. Okay, so call her up and ask her.
That kid's going to stroll into school as Patrick Mahomes' son.
Well, that's the thing. Is it?
That's a fair point.
No, Mahomes at the end of it kind of trumps the beginning.
Yeah, but it's a woman. It's a girl, Golden Ray.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
I need to
It's a made-up
stop
name,
everyone
I don't know.
here because I'm now finding our own show problematic. Greg Cody has now demanded that his wife package his things better after taking care of him, and now he is serving as ombudsman for how people name their kids.
Yeah, I don't demand anything. I just suggest.
Apparently, the common nickname for Demond is Bob.
A parent.
Wow.
named the
That's
kid.
interesting.
That is a great fact.
Bob Greasy.
It's according to the weird AI Google internet. So
Really?
I don't know that we can
AI
trust
knows
it,
everything.
but-
Yeah. Huh. Demond? Nickname is Bob? Why?
Okay,
It
I'll
should be
find
Demi,
out.
like Demi Moore or something. No?
Dem would work.
Dem? But Dem, it doesn't sound like a nickname. It's like, Dem. Who Dem? Who dat?
Right.
Do you
Bob
think
Bucher.
Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Not
Bob
athleticism.
Euchre.
Not helpful.
Bob-
Bob.
Bob
Bob
Euchre.
Newhart could sling the pill.
Bob Cousy.
Coos.
The Coozer.
The Coozer.
Chris, I would like to speak
Bobby
to
Q.
both my father today and your mother because I want to ask her some questions, including whether or not he was going to name you Bamboo Reed, because I think your father is a liar.
Hopefully she's not cheating.
And I want some
Might be the
answers.
day.
I want some answers to that question as well, because I really do think Greg Cote disrespected his union with a woman who is like, I'm not kidding when I say she is 1,000 times the Titan that he is. At his 70th birthday, I will say that the most moved Greg Cote was, as he considered everything from love to mortality, is thinking about the ways that he loves his wife, who has raised a 70-year-old toddler. A man who cannot do anything other than brag about making podcasts and his clicks and looking out at his downloads.
I'm assuming that's what Earleen loves most about Greg, his unwillingness to mature and grow up. He's a kid. He's a kid at heart.
Yes.
He's lovable. He's great.
We will ask her. We will ask her that in a second.
Having been given a name that was difficult for many to pronounce correctly, Sanders asked his mother if his name could be changed. His mother suggested Bob as a nickname, and the name stuck.
So the AI internet was wrong.
Huh.
I can't keep up there anymore. I will just tell you, I can't. I have now lost much of my ability to tell what is real and what is not. I don't know if the rest of you are feeling the same.
It's on
thing.
purpose, Dan. They don't want us to know
And
anything.
just as we live in a time of disinformation and dangerous times in general, and I ask the public to please placate me on what do you think the apocalypse looks like? Would it look like some of what's happening in California, like before it started? Would it like whatever it is the end looks like, whatever you imagine it to look like? Do you expect it to just be here in 50 years with an explosion, or are there going to just be occasional hurricane-forced winds during a fire that we weren't aware of?
Bob Saget.
R.I.P.
Mm-hmm. Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Bobby Weir.
Rest in power.
A lot of great Bobs.
A lot of dead Bobs.
Bob Dylan, not so great, overrated.
No, Bob Dylan. Come
He's
on
alive.
now.
Not so good.
Whoa, $50 fine.
What happened?
50. Did you just kill Bob Dylan? You just killed Bob Dylan.
I didn't kill Bob
He
Dylan.
didn't mention it. I just wanted to
good.
make sure I got in front of it.
Someone said R.I.P. in response to another Bob.
Yes.
There are no great
Bob Saget.
Look, you guys keep saying great Bobs. You're not giving me very many athletic Bobs. I'm not getting an assortment.
Big Shot Bob. I gave
Yeah, but
it.
that's Robert.
Bobby Hebert.
Bob Cousy.
Bob Clemente.
Robert,
Billy
no,
Gavian.
that's
Thank
not.
you.
That's Robert. That doesn't get to be Bob.
Well, they're all Robert.
No, but yes, but
Bob Sapp. MMA.
I know who Bob Sapp
I don't
is.
know.
Bob Sapp. Well, I don't. There's no way. Louis, do me the favor, just so that Greg Cote can enjoy the visual reveal of me showing him what Bob Sapp looks like, because Bob Sapp is an international superstar for just being a giant physical specimen beast of a man in here and Japan who could not fight a lick, even though he was 350 pounds of bloated muscle and a bit of a superhero, and everyone would kick his ass in whatever it is the fighting sport was, but my God, he was terrifying walking to the ring. Famous only for being giant. Bob Sapp was not a great athlete. He was just someone named Bob.
Okay.
Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Bonds.
Bob Boone.
Ricky Bobby.
Bobby Abreu.
SB Nation dove into this in 2012, guys.
Really?
And apparently, as of
We're
2012,
stealing?
there had only been 1,884 athletes across the NFL, NBA, NHL, and NCAA ever that had gone primarily by the name Bob, not Robert or Bobby or Bob. But at the time in 2012, the only Bob in those sports was Bob Sanders.
Huh.
Wow.
So something has been done already on the deep dive think piece on can Bobs be great athletes? No is the answer. If you're named Bob, you
As
can't
of
be.
13 years ago.
Bob Gibson.
Let's go to
Bob Sura.
Yeah, how about
Bob
Bob Gibson?
Oh, my God.
Right.
He had to face Teddy Ballgame.
Yeah, damn right.
Yes.
Did he? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Gibson came after Teddy Ballgame.
How about
didn't he?
Bob Feller? I mean,
Another Hall
Oh,
of Famer.
that's a good one. That's a good
The
one.
Indian, back when we called them Indians.
Whoa, careful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We're going to call them.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Different time.
Back when we wrapped presents
Hold on.
and could say Merry Christmas.
We've got a penalty, 5 minutes. Major asshole.
5 minutes. Wow. Major asshole.
Oh, major.
Wow.
Let's not rewrite history. Bob Feller played for the Cleveland Indians. I'm sorry.
All right, don't repeat yourself.
You're right on Bob Feller. We will look up whether I've cross-contaminated generations here between Bob Gibson and Teddy Ballgame. You're going to have to leave, though. You're going to have to leave because what you did is deeply offensive to me. And you cannot... You can. I will tell you, Stugotz, that in these modern times, I think the funniest moment since we left ESPN for me that I was not able to make fun of is we had a moment on our show where I said that somebody was sitting Indian style. And then, yeah, well, this is what happened back then. Yes, I said someone was sitting Indian style. And then to correct myself, because I got scared of it immediately, then I corrected it to something you'd write in fiction if you were trying to mock my ego-soaked ass. Native American style. And none of you noticed it. And no one corrected me, and we sped through the stop sign, and I was like, that's mortifying what just happened to me there. I was supposed to say crisscross applesauce, which I'm sorry, I feel ridiculous saying.
We noticed, we just kept it moving.
Well, you kept it moving well enough to avoid the problem we presently have, which is Greg Cote, who's feeling full of himself today, and should be, by the way. That first hour was a Greg Cote hour for all time, and furthermore, he came in today with a shocking announcement that he's got a back in my day, a fresh back in my day, out of nowhere, unannounced, hasn't done one of those, and I don't know how long it's been, unless it's for profit through one of his books.
Well, it's Tuesday. I mean,
he's right about that, Jack.
We're in a dangerous place with your old man, Chris, in that he ages poorly in terms of saying that his wife, the lawyer or partner, should do his bags better.
My mom is joining right now, by the way, so she should be here any second.
She's not going to like what's about to be said here.
Bob Gibson has faced 5 Teds. None of them were Ted Williams.
But they did overlap by years. They just never faced each other.
2 years of overlap.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. I am held clinging to my own ignorance. That is how the sportsman ages right there. You just crisscross generations, 60s, 80s, what was it, 90s, 70s? I don't know. Teddy Ballgame, and then you point at your friend. That's how it happens. That's how the knowledge base of I used to collect baseball cards disintegrates.
Occasionally you get 2 points from Greg. I mean,
3 of those years, by the way, he was in the military. So.
Right,
okay, thank you. Yeah, it's an amazing story. For those of you who want to know the legend of Teddy Ballgame, he, in his prime, went off to be a fighter pilot. It's kind of amazing. And then at the end, they cut his head off and put it in some sort of hyperbaric chamber, and it lives in ice.
Yeah.
Bob McAdoo.
Yes. Bob Hairdo.
Oh.
No, my mother, back in my mother's day, women had, it was called a bob hairstyle.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Still exists.
Earleen, back me up on that.
No, we'll get to her in a
hairdo.
second. Hold on a second, Greg Cote. Let's introduce first your wife, who's very busy at a law firm, and she doesn't have time for this nonsense. She really does not. Okay, and
she's always available, though.
No, she's not always available. No, she is not always available.
I'm sorry.
That is not in any way true. I ask for her all the time, and she graces us with her presence 2 or 3 times. And it's always to the eternal embarrassment of Greg Cote. So I have a number of different questions to ask you, Earleen. But when he goes Bob haircut there with the joke.
Hairdo. That's a fine.
Because it was off of Bob McAdoo. Right.
Yeah, I want to know, okay, why she loves this man, a man she's had to take care of for 70 years. And the argument before you got here is, well, he's forever a kid, and she likes that he's immature, and he's always a kid, and he makes her laugh.
Yes, I was saying that's probably what Earleen loves most about Greg Cote.
You did say Arlene. You got her name wrong there. I let it slide, and I kept it moving the last time.
What's your name?
It's an odd name.
It's Earleen is her name.
Sorry.
Yes, it's okay. We'll let it slide for now.
Sorry, Earleen.
Don't mean to mansplain to Earleen. It's not Arlene.
Sorry.
It's Sty, it's Stu, what the hell, right? Whatever.
It's his longtime love and a man who takes care of this old man. And the question I want to pose to you, among many, is how is his sense of humor aging at home? Because I've found that his Bob joke is lazy even by his standards, that he is getting lazier and lazier on funny with age at home.
Yeah, I think he goes to the the one that he can just like pull out of it, that he's always said over and over again, like bump kind of jokes. Yeah, agreed.
Like he'll just put the name Al in front of something that doesn't.
Yeah, just to make us all go, here we go again. I mean, I would like a little fresh. I would like a little fresher humor. I agree.
A quick parenthesis here. I just Googled the phrase bob hairdo.
Right.
And photos come up of a bob hairdo.
That's right.
That wasn't lazy. I wasn't making that up.
No, there is a bob hairdo. That is correct.
Okay, so why is that lazy?
There used to be a...
It's Bob Hairdo.
Mm-hmm. The Bob.
It's not a name, it's a thing.
Yeah. Earleen, when you came on, the reason I started there is when you came on, you made a face like you smelled something bad. Like, there's my husband out in public making one of those stinker jokes of his, not trying very hard. And I saw something, if not shame, it was not love on your face.
Oh, there's always love there.
There you go.
But honestly, I mean, it's like, here we, whatever. Like I said, here we go. Like, can you do better than that? But yeah, sometimes you can't. Like,
Well,
and plus, what would you guys do? You wouldn't be able to make fun of him if he didn't say stupid shit.
Right. That's charming.
correct.
Yes, you don't want him to change.
That is correct.
Right.
It's, well, she loves him.
Yes.
I don't know of two more important ingredients
Well,
in
do you?
love than
Let's ask her.
understanding and acceptance.
Do you love him?
Yes, of course she loves him.
Of course.
Okay, just making sure.
She went kind of high with her voice there.
Yeah, that was a lie.
I have a head cold. Give me
He has a
a
head cold.
It's going around this time of year.
It really is.
I have a number of questions.
Baby.
Is what you
And the
love
head
most
cold, too.
about him that he's a kid at heart?
Sure.
What's she supposed to say to that?
Is there something that she loves more about you? You are fiercely protective and speak in poems about how much you love her. I don't know him.
No, I mean, he's extremely. I got a 44-year-old, anniversary banner in my house.
That's
now.
right.
Wow.
Banner. What a great gift.
Yes, thank you. 6x4.
Amazon is amazing.
Right.
It really is. $12.99. That's
you
a
wrap
lot
it?
of banner for $10.
Did you wrap it?
No, I displayed it for her. I put it up banner style.
Well, what I'm trying to figure out is what's the over/under of when we can take it down. But that's just,
It's a great question.
March.
It is a great question. How long is too long for the thoughtful gift that
Yeah.
is a testament to Greg Cody's love, all $12.99 of it?
Yeah.
Wants to be celebrated like Cleopatra around his house because he got a banner for $12.99.
That's correct.
When was the anniversary?
January 10th.
Friday.
Oh, I mean, we've been celebrating our 20th for like 6 months
That's
already.
right.
So I
Six
feel
more-
like,
six more to
A
go.
good year. Yeah.
6 more to go.
yeah, 44. That's a big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah.
Do it till you're
Thanks a lot.
satisfied.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for that kind of support. I was like hoping that it was that the deadline. I think the deadline is 1 week. That's my thing.
Okay.
Mom, Dad was saying earlier that you're going too much to the gift bag around holiday time, not wrapping enough gifts like in the old days.
Okay, that's because he wraps 10 gifts and I wrap 200 gifts.
Oh.
Okay.
You don't wrap
So-
gifts. You put them in bags. I mean, honestly.
I don't
Look,
think
you're
anybody
not perfect
cares about that except
Right.
you.
I'm revealing
Nobody
a
cares.
minor imperfection in your demeanor.
If Greg gave you the opportunity to cheat on him once a month in exchange for wrapping all the gifts perfectly, would you take that
Well,
deal?
hold on a second.
Wait a
There's
minute.
context here.
Once a month?
So, yeah,
We
hold
also
on.
started
Hold
with
on.
one.
That was
Just
presented poorly. Earleen.
That was the part that was presented poorly?
Earleen, yeah.
Wait,
some-
Can you guys please stop disrespecting their
We're
union
not.
this
We're
way?
not.
not.
No,
We're
not.
asking questions.
Yeah, we're just exactly
Follow-ups.
chewing up some loose ends here. So, Earleen, this is what happened. Someone likened the way that you wrap gifts by putting it in bags to cheating and potential infidelity. So then we naturally ask Greg, well, if you had to choose, Earleen wraps everything.
We didn't do that.
Everyone but Dan. So what we did was we asked him if you could choose one form of infidelity versus the other, either cheating in the wrapping gifts or cheating once a year, which would you prefer?
And what did he pick?
Well, it's up to you.
He said it was a good question.
Yeah, he said it was a good question.
I want nothing to do with this. I didn't pick anything.
I can't give up the gift bag. I'm sorry.
See, loyal marriage. I love it.
It's a good wife.
Shortcut. It's okay.
So you'd rather her cheat on you?
You know,
She's not cheating.
And by the way, I wrap more than 10 gifts. Thank you very much.
All right, 12.
Yeah, and I bow them as well.
Nobody cares about the bow.
I care about the bow.
Stick on the bow.
Bowing it. David
All right,
Bowie.
well,
What?
Jim
Riddick
Bowe,
Bowe.
sure.
Hey!
Thank you. What?
Anything else?
Yes, I've got one more question and only one, but I really do just want to understand, because I don't understand how we've gotten so comfortable with Greg Cote in general that we're just doing the show, and at some point he just shouts across the room in some way that no one notices, "Do it till you're satisfied."
Exactly.
And I'm like, no one's going to comment on that? Why did he just shout into the din, "Do it till you're satisfied"? Do what till you're satisfied?
It's an all-purpose.
Here comes the cough.
It's that kind of thing.
What do you mean, do it till you're satisfied?
It's because he can't think of anything else to say. It's one of the top 10.
This is where you've got lazy as your humor, though. Do it till you're satisfied had nothing to do with what we were talking about.
It has everything to do with what we're talking about.
The last question I want to ask you, Earleen, is, were you ever considering, or was it ever brought to you that Greg...
Wait, time out.
It's Earleen.
It should be an open-ended question. You shouldn't say, it was the name. You should say to her, what was the name that Greg wanted to name Christopher
all right,
that
you know what?
objected to?
That is an excellent... Thank you.
She may not remember. It's been a while.
Okay, no, but you know what, Greg? I'm going to allow you, because I'd be stunned if you were telling the truth on this. Please get it right like an old-timey game show. Please get your wife to answer correctly without you telling her. Ask the question you like to get the response that will make you correct.
Okay, if she remembers it. When you were pregnant with Christopher and we were dreaming up possible names, I came up with, we were going through the usual suspect of names. I came up with a rather unusual name that you vetoed. Do you remember what that name was?
Is that when you were on the LSD? Is that when that was happening?
Yeah.
Please. Come on. Now, that was well after that. You don't remember?
Oh, you mean the bamboo reed thing?
Oh my God! Yes! Upset! Yes! Yes! Bamboo reed! Oh my God!
From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite. I know I do. The grape-tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and great-tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Recently, I had family over, and while everyone's palate is different, I knew they all like beer, and they all look like people who want to drink beer that actually tastes like beer. So I brought out a nice little silver platter of Miller Lite. That beautiful white can was an instant winner. Trust me, learn from my experience, set that bad boy out, and you will be making people happy left and right. Because Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. The original light beer since 1975. And still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Okay, guys, it says here I'm supposed to tell you about the refreshing tropical lime flavor of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. But what does refreshing tropical lime mean exactly? Allow me to describe it in a way that my fellow DraftKings players will understand. Mountain Dew Baja Blast tastes like a buzzer-beating three-pointer to cover the spread, nailing a multi-leg parlay, setting the perfect daily fantasy lineup. It's like hitting an underdog money line. And I want you to know that feeling too. So make your picks and then grab some tropical lime-flavored Mountain Dew Baja Blast for you and your buds. Available wherever refreshing beverages are sold.